Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg right now, the former National Security Advisor to Vice President Pence. General, good seeing you. I don't know what is coming up on this phone call the president's having with his Ukrainian counterpart, but what do you hope to hear from the president?
Well, thanks, Neil. Thanks for having me. Look, I think what the president has already done with his talks with Putin is we've got two world leaders. One of them is playing checkers. That's President Biden. And one of them is playing chess, and that's Vladimir Putin. What Putin wants to have, and I think he's succeeded in doing so, is he wants President Biden to go talk to the NATO leaders about what Russia's concerns are when it comes to the sovereignty of Ukraine and also Russian involvement in the Ukraine. And I think what he's looking at is making sure we have hands off in Ukraine. And frankly, I don't think Ukraine is in our vital national interest. It's in the vital interest of Europe. I mean, we need to make sure that Ukraine stays a sovereign state. But my concern has continually been, Neil, that we don't focus in so much on Russia as we do on China. China is the primary adversary we need to face. We need to address that. And I think those discussions that we had the other day, I think when on balance, I think Putin came out way, way ahead of where President Biden did.
All right, we don't know for sure what came of those discussions, but General, you raised an interesting point about China, that maybe they might be playing the U.S. in concert, that China says, you keep them busy in the Ukraine, we'll keep them busy in the South China Sea. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think they are working in concert. I don't think it's a deliberate concert, meaning there's no treaty or obligations, but they realize they've got a common adversary. Their common adversary is the United States of America, and they're going to work in concert to destabilize as much as we can our influence not only in Europe but the rest of the world. You know, we just read something the other day that China is now going to develop a maritime base on the western part of Africa. Can you imagine, say, in 5 years you now have a Chinese fleet and a Russian fleet maneuvering together in the Atlantic off our east coast? That's entirely possible. And Putin is a strategic thinker. He thinks like that. So does she. So you've got two very capable, very shrewd adversaries. And by the way, they're both ruthless, and they're not friends of ours.
You know, I'm just thinking that we talk about additional sanctions on Russia, maybe doing something with finally taking down this pipeline to Germany, that'll teach them. But of course, they're one of the most sanctioned countries on the planet right now. When it comes to China, you know, our threats to diplomatically boycott the Olympics, China's already indicated that it's going to return the salvo to those countries that have already said they're going to do that, including the United States, Australia, Canada, England, New Zealand. What do you make of how each country is responding to these threats?
Well, yeah, most are looking at their own national interests, which, by the way, every country should look at their national interest. And honestly, Neil, I've got to be very candid with you. I mean, I was one of those who saw what happened with the Moscow Olympics years ago. I would prefer we try to keep politics out of sports, and especially the Olympic sports. You want to make a statement in the Olympics? Have American athletes, men or women, win the gold medal and have our national anthem be played for the entire world in front of the Chinese. That's sending a statement. And I would prefer we play the game that way than talking about we're not going to have diplomatic representation. The Chinese don't care. My care is let's show how good America is on the athletic fields of the world.
Well, that's what the administration, as you know, General, says it was threading the needle to do, that our athletes are there and they will show the Chinese a thing or two, but we're just not going to have any officials there. Do the Chinese really care about that?
I don't think they do. I think they look at this and kind of brush it off. I mean, they look at a long game. They realize this doesn't mean very much. They're going to continue to apply economic pressure, military pressure, cultural pressure. They've got it. And they're continue to expand. This is just, to me, sort of like a little bit of an itch. They don't really care about it. Sounds really good maybe to the American press.
Right.
The Chinese, they don't care. Not at all.
Got it. General, if we don't chat again, I hope you have a Merry Christmas, my friend. Thank you foremost for your incredible service to this country as well. General Keith Kellogg.